Okay, hi there, Pythonoi and Pythoni. Don't know if you saw what I did there, but Latin students, you should get it. Okay, today we're going to talk about how to handle boundaries and borders. What do you do? What you don't want to have happen is you don't want to have your characters go off the screen and never return. So we call this boundary or border handling. Okay, so I'm just going to show you in the game here, and then we'll come back and look at how we did this. Okay, so starting the game here, the raspberry is our guy. Okay, and he's moving right, he's moving right, he's moving right, he's going towards the border, he's almost at the border, he hits the border, and he comes back on the left-hand side. Let's see that again. Okay, so notice how the X is going up because he's going to the right on the number line, right? 596, 700, 8, boom. Oh, and he's back over here. Notice the X position now is 0, okay? So we have this actually set up in the code here for you, okay? And we're going to take a look at that right now, right under handling the boundaries. Okay, so here it is. This is the code. Here's our if statement. So if rasp underscore x, that is the x position of the raspberry, is greater than width, do something, okay? And notice because it's an if statement, we've got to have our colon there, and then that's indented, as all good Pythonoi and Pythoni know, okay? But let's talk a little bit about what this, if x, the x of raspberry is greater than width, well, the problem is, what is width, okay? Here's a cool thing. If you right-click and you go to definition, after you've selected it, it will go up here and will show where you've defined the width, which is really cool. Okay, so up here we have defined the width. This is something we have defined. We've said the width, which is going to be the width of our screen, is going to be 800. 800 what? 800 pixels, okay? You can make it whatever you want. But just for whatever purposes, I've made this 800 and the height is 600. So let's go back down here and look at that again. So we've said if rasp underscore x is greater than width, which is the same as saying if it's greater than 800 in this case, then what we're going to do is we're going to say the x position of the raspberry is going to be equal to 0. Let's look at that again and just watch how this works, okay? Okay, so here's our raspberry. Okay, X position, see the number going up, 400, 450. We said width is 800, remember? 660, 690, 700, 740, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 800. Nothing has happened because we said if it's greater than, next one, boom. If it was greater than 800, set it to 0. So basically what that meant was if it goes off the right-hand side of the screen, come back on the left-hand side of the screen. Okay? So you see the X go up, 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 up. It's all good until you're going to keep doing it. 800, nothing happens. If I hit it one more time, it's going to be greater. The X position will be greater than 800. Boom. And we said in that case, set it back to 0, which means put it on the left-hand side. Okay? So that's handling the right boundary. Now, let's think about this for a second. If we want to do the opposite, if we want to say if it goes off the left-hand side, okay, now this is an if statement, so we're going to go back out here. If rasp x, now, how do we decide if it's off the left-hand side? Well, what is coordinate on the left-hand side? 0, right? Okay. Do we want to know if it's equal to 0, less than 0, greater than 0? Well, if you go to the left, past 0 on the number line, the numbers are then negative, right? So what we want to do is we want to say if it's less than 0, right? Colon, because it's an if statement. What do we want to do? We want to say the rasp x. Now we want it to come over back on the right-hand side. What's the coordinate on the right-hand side? Well, we've set it to width, right? which is 800. That way we don't have to write 800 every time, okay? We don't have to remember what it is. So let's see if this will work, okay? And kaboom, okay? So we know it's going to work that way. Let's see if we go this way, okay? If it's less than 0, okay, we're going down, 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 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40. Oh! It was less than 0. And it went over there. Boom. Oh my gosh, amazing. Amazing, amazing. Okay, so it's working. It's a little wonky in that we're kind of seeing it at some points we don't want to, but that's not hard to fix, okay? So then let's think about the top and bottom borders, okay? Now, let's just run that again and think about the top and bottom borders. Okay, so what's going to happen here is, okay, left, right is the x-axis. Up, down, notice it's the y that's changing now. So the very top, what's the y coordinate? It's going to be 0. Very bottom, which is what we call height, is 600. Okay? So let's think about this. If it goes off the bottom, which means it's greater than height, or 600, then what do we want to have happen? Okay, well, back out to here. So if RASP, okay, careful here, y is greater, not x, but y, right, than height, colon. Okay. So if the y position is greater than height, what's height? Well, you can select that, right click, go to the definition, go up here, and we set it to be 600. Okay. So basically what we're saying there is if the y position, where was it, right here, okay, is greater than height, notice it indents nicely because we put that colon at the end, we want to set the RASP position of y equal to, well, what's the top? 0, right. Okay? That should work. Let's try it and see. Okay. So if we go off the bottom, let's see, in there, greater than height should be equal to 0. Oh, there it is. Excellent. Okay. Now, I'm not actually going to show you how to do that one, because I think if you're smart enough, and I know you are, you can figure this out, right? So in other words, if it gets below 0, you want it to come back down there, okay? Think about that for a minute. See if you can work that out. I'm sure you can. If you've got any questions, you can feel free to ask. Okay.